This may very well be the most chaotic thing I have ever filmed. I have to finish this video before the end of my lunch break, and failure is not an option, folks. Bibliophiles of the internet, today I'm here to share a short and sweet announcement about Tome Topple Round 17. That's right, we are coming back. We are going to finish off 2022 with another round of Tome Topple, and it's going to be great. I'm quickly going to go over the details for this round and also share what I hope to read, so let's just get started. For anyone who doesn't know, and there's always a few who don't, which is totally fine, Tome Topple is a 2-week-long readathon that Sam from Thoughts on Tomes created with the sole purpose of encouraging folks to read 500-plus page books. A lot of people, myself included, find ourselves intimidated by those books. We put them off again and again in favor of pretty much anything else, and so if that describes you as well, this readathon is your chance to finally read one or more of those big books. So that's really the only ironclad rule for Tome Topple. Any book that you try to read for this event should be 500 pages at least, or more if you so choose. I say this every round, but try to get in the ballpark at the very least. If your book is like 490 pages, that's not a huge difference, but if it's like 350 pages, I would say you're in the wrong place. It's all based on integrity, it's an honor system. Just try to honor the intent and purpose of the readathon in your reading selections, please. This next round is going to take place starting at midnight on December 9th, and it will go until 11:59 p.m. according to your own time zone on December 22nd. As always, you can use the hashtag TomeTopple across all social media platforms so that we can see and share your content, and while the website hasn't gone down in flames as of yet, you can still follow us at Tome_Topple on Twitter for any updates, chats, or sprints. We also have a Discord server, which is a great space to connect with other people doing the readathon. There's lots of recommendations, discussion threads, people use it to set up buddy reads, and again, with Twitter going the way it is, we're also thinking about how we might conduct sprints in that space. So all of that information and all of those links will be included down below, along with a list of the co-hosts and their respective social media platforms. Definitely give everyone a follow because I'm sure we're all going to be posting to some degree about any Tome Topple updates. We are continuing to move away from the bingo board in terms of the reading challenges. Sam has come up with a way that's a lot more freeform and a lot less completionist, which some people tend to struggle with. So we just have a list of prompts and you can choose as many or as few as you would like. So I'm going to quickly take you through the prompts. We have a tome with a screen adaptation, current or forthcoming, a sequel, tome on your TBR with the most pages, audiobook, tome written by a BIPOC author, tome from a genre you don't usually read, tome in a series you haven't read in a while, tome set in the winter or with a wintry cover aesthetic, tome based on a historical event, award-winning tome, standalone, tome set in a non-European inspired setting, tome centering romance, tome that's been in your TBR for the longest, tome featuring an animal as the main character or prominent side character, tome with your favorite cover, graphic novel, tome released before 2018, tome released in 2022, and a tome written by someone who does not identify as a man. So like I said, a lot of variety, a lot of different possibilities. Again, you can complete as many or as few prompts as feels right for you, or you can ignore them altogether. It is completely your choice. I think that's all the housekeeping stuff. Anything I forgot will be in the description down below or covered in Sam's announcement video, which will also be down below, so definitely check that out. With all that said, let's get into my TBR hopefuls for those 2 weeks. Listen, anyone who's seen my Tome Topple content knows that I'm a very cautious planner for this event. I try to be as realistic as possible and choose 2 books max with the intention of at least reading 1 book per week, which usually works out based on my typical reading pace. My main focus for this round is going to be The Final Strife by Sara Al-Arifi. Those of you keeping track might recall that I was kindly sent a finished copy of this book by Penguin Random House for their Read with Pride campaign this past June, and I've been purposefully saving it for the next round of Tome Topple, so now is finally my chance. This is the first book in a new queer epic fantasy trilogy that's rooted in both African and Arabian mythology. I believe it follows 3 different characters who live within this oppressive empire where people are divided into different social castes based on their blood. Red blood is for the elite people in this society, blue blood is for the poor and impoverished working class, and clear blood denotes those who are slaves. Scylla was raised by the resistance and dreams of leading a rebellion to overthrow the ruling class of red bloods. Anur is the daughter of the most powerful ruler in the empire, but she's always been told that she's disappointing and useless. Hassa is basically considered to be invisible, moving through worlds unseen by the upper classes, but she's finding that being invisible could make her invaluable to the revolution since it means that she can access all kinds of secrets. These 3 women become connected somehow and begin working together to spark a flame that could very well burn this entire empire to the ground. This book sounds so good. It's been getting fantastic reviews ever since it came out. I know Jesse from Bowties and Books was very vocal about their love for this first book and even did an entire read-along for it, so I definitely have some high hopes for this. I haven't decided which prompts I'm going to use this for, but it could qualify for audiobook, written by a BIPOC author, non-European setting, written by a non-man, and released in 2022. I honestly don't know if I'm going to have the bandwidth to read more than one book, but if I do, I think my second choice is going to be A Winter's Promise by Christelle Debos, which is translated from the original French. I believe this is like a whimsical fantasy, possibly fantasy romance, about this world that was broken up into different floating islands after this event known as the Rupture, and each of those islands are governed by their own distinct set of rules or different kinds of magic. Our main character, Ophelia, lives on one of those celestial islands where inanimate objects have souls, and not only can she communicate with those souls, but she can also travel through mirrors as well. Everything changes when she is promised in marriage to Thorn, who belongs to a very powerful family, and she doesn't know why she was chosen. So now she has to leave behind her home and hide her true identity, and little does she know that she might have just become a pawn in a very sinister plot. I have had this book on my TBR for literal years. I'm pretty sure it was a Christmas gift from at least 4 years ago, because when I was gifted this, the translation for the second book did not exist. And fun fact, I have used this book as a prop for pretty much every single Tome Topple thumbnail I've ever made since I got it, because it's just a good stand-in for any kind of big book that I don't physically own. So yes, now you know my dirty little secret, but it gets to be in the thumbnail for real this time because I would genuinely love to finally read this. From what I've heard, it seems like a really charming, imaginative fantasy series, and I would really love to start it. Again, I haven't nailed down which prompts this could be for, but it could apply for wintry tome, award-winning tome, possibly romance, tome written by a non-man, and tome published before 2018, because the original French edition was first published in 2013. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about this upcoming round of Tome Topple, as well as my possible TBR. As I said before, definitely check down below for all of the information you could possibly need, and if you want to share what you're going to be reading, feel free to also drop that down below in the comments. But that is everything I had to share for this announcement/TBR today. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, educate yourself, be kind to yourself, take care of yourself, and I will catch you on the flip side of the page. Bye!